What is good, everybody? It's your boy REEZ here on the Dynasty Recall podcast, dropping more knowledge to help you dominate your Dynasty leagues. Here we are again, yet again. Thanks for stopping by. I just got off work. It's been a fun day. Got off a little early today, so I thought I'd come by and speak on a few things that have been going on throughout the week. I'm here, and I'm a big fan of IPAs, so I'm drinking this All America City IPA from the Flying Bison Brewing Company. If any breweries want to send me some beer, we can talk about some sponsorships. We can talk about I'm just kidding, but I do love microbreweries and just trying different beers and everything. But let's get past that. I want to talk about Carson Wentz today, how that changes a lot of things. I mean, it doesn't change too much. It's a definite upgrade at quarterback for the the Commanders. Still getting used to that. It's still so weird. It doesn't even sound like a real football name. But the Washington Commanders, it's a definite upgrade over Taylor Heineke. Doesn't really do much for Antonio Gibson, but Scary Terry, he gets a little bit of a bump. It's, I think, by far the best quarterback he's played with in his career. Carson Wentz, I think he gets a lot of hate, and some of it is justified. Obviously Philly didn't believe in him. Indianapolis didn't believe in him. He's not much more than a bridge quarterback over in Washington, but still a definite upgrade, and it gives other pieces a chance to perform a lot better. He's not a game winner, but he can deliver the ball where it needs to go sometimes. I mean, when he feels like it. He was 10th in passing touchdowns last year, so that's something you can definitely live with. That's delicious, man. But, he was 6th in deep ball completion percentage, 43%. I mean, you gotta love that for Terry. 17th in air yards, 3,500 yards passing. He did okay. I mean, for the most part of the year, he did okay. Definite downgrade for him as far as the offensive line is concerned, I believe. It's hard to get excited about, but he should finish mid QB2. Not somebody I would give up a first for. I'm not giving up a first for a bridge quarterback unless I'm in a dire situation and in need of a QB3 for the season. And I'm going for the championship. But it's not. I mean, other than that, what are you gonna do? Terry gets a slight boost. Let me look at my. I got my rankings over here, my top 20 Dynasty receiver rankings, and I have Terry McLaurin at 20. With this trade, I put him up to 18, just over Godwin and Pittman. Obviously, Godwin got tagged. He's staying in Tampa Bay. They don't have a quarterback, so it remains to be seen who's throwing him the ball. If Godwin gets a quarterback, I move him right past McLaurin. Godwin goes past Elijah Moore, Devontae Smith. I think he kind of stops at T. Higgins because Mike Evans is still there and he'll still be eating up targets and big plays. But, yeah. If you can buy Terry at a discount, Carson Wentz is a bump for him. it's not slowing him down by any means. Definitely something, you wanna gauge in your leagues. Throw out some offers. I don't have McLaurin. I like to go receiver heavy, and I had just kind of given up on McLaurin after a few years of disappointments and highs and lows, boom and bust. I like a little bit more consistency on my team, personally. So maybe this will provide him that consistency. Be that go-to target for him. Um, but yeah, uh, not anything. I mean, they gave up 2/3 to get Carson Wentz. I don't. It was looking like the Colts were going to cut Carson Wentz, so I don't understand the move from Washington. I don't really know what direction they're trying to go here with that. Do they take a quarterback in the first round and let him sit under Wentz? I don't know. It's dysfunction over there. It's dysfunctional. Talk some buys. Let's talk some buys. Due to the trade, that major Russell Wilson trade. If you haven't seen my last podcast on that, I recommend checking it out. Leave a comment, rate, review, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter at @FF_REEZ. I'm always putting out some good content, trying to, just help everybody out. So first up for my list of buys, it's pretty obvious on this one due to Russell Wilson, but I still think Courtland Sutton is not getting the respect that he's going to command come in season time when Courtland Sutton is starting to go off and that Denver offense is clicking. So Sutton was going as the wide receiver 53 prior to the draft, ADP of 113. So in a 12-team league, you're sitting around the 10th round. I'm expecting him to command a first-round value. I don't know how far of first round, mid to late would be conservative. More aggressive is he's the breakout. Jerry Jeudy is the number 2. That's, a little bit more aggressive thinking, but it's a possibility. I mean, the guy is solid. He's a great deep play threat. Right now, I think you can get Sutton for, an early second plus. If you have Mike Williams, I'm trading Mike Williams for Sutton straight up, because I talked about it in my last podcast. Mike Williams is not that guy. He's unreliable. He's, he put up a great first 7 or 8 games of the season, and what happened to him after that? He just kind of disappeared and fell into wide receiver 4 territory or something like that. I don't have him on any team, so I'm talking off the top of my head. I'll look it up. Let me look at his games before I start talking shit. Oh, Mike Williams on the trade block. What do you know? I'm on Sleeper right now. I'm looking at my leagues. That's where I'm pulling everything, the game logs. Of course, Mike Williams would be on the trade block. Trade him, guys. Get what you can for him. He signed that deal, but he has no real role in LA. Keenan Allen's the possession guy, and Mike Williams, basically they used Mike Williams as a possession receiver the first half of the year. And once they're like, oh yeah, we have Keenan Allen, then what? And that's where he kind of got lost in the sauce. If you have Claypool, I'm trading Claypool for Sutton. Straight up. straight up Claypool for Cortland Sutton. It's a little bit of a risk. He's a solid player, but I don't think he'll ever become the thing that Twitter and everybody thinks he's going to become. It's going to take him a few more years to mature and to really have any sort of dominance. I don't know if he's going to be dominant while Deontay Johnson is in Pittsburgh. And so I'm willing to trade that for Sutton. Another one, Juju Smith-Schuster and James Conner straight up for Sutton. Should be able to get it done. It might not. Every league is different. It's all about knowing your league, knowing who you're trading with, knowing what they're. I know some people are more inclined to picks than they are to players. And if what's James Conner worth? Mid, late second. I'll trade an early second in Juju for Cortland Sutton right now. I think that's a good trade in it. It looks even right now. At least to me, it looks even-ish at face value. But at the end of the year, it's going to look like a landslide. Why the hell would anybody do that? That's what it's going to look like. And I'm saying it now. There's a few more buys I want to get to. So I know I was saying that I'm going to do a Rams podcast, and this is the start of it. Congratulations, guys. Welcome. One of my buys is Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford is going to his age 34 season, so he's a little bit older. So you can probably get him for a first plus, You can maybe allow somebody to downgrade at quarterback if, they're not trying to win, if they're not in contention. Downgrade at quarterback plus a first to get Matt Stafford. This guy had 601 pass attempts. That is the fourth most of his career. He had 4,800 yards, the third most of his career. And he had a 67.2% completion percentage, which is tied for the most in his career. Sean McVay is getting the most out of this guy, and he's just bringing out the best. And he's got another year in the offense to understand. He had a few weapons go down in OBJ and Robert Woods. Robert Woods also another one of my buy. I'm just saying. That connection with Cooper Kupp is strong. And I'm excited to see what this guy is going to bring in the future. He's got at least 3 more years of being a solid quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is 38 already. So who's to say Matt Stafford can't play 4 more years? They're going to shore up that offensive line in the offseason. That's going to be one of the main priorities outside of, re-signing Von Miller. But Matt Stafford was 3rd in the league in red zone attempts, 116. So, I don't even think I need to justify this with the numbers. But, I'll throw a few of them out there for those that need it. 10th in the league in deep ball completion percentage. 4th in the league in pressured completion percentage. 9th in true passer rating, which is okay. I expect Matt Stafford to be a top 10, not just a QB1. It's not far off, but around the 7-8 range, I expect him to be in the top 10 for the next 3 years. And to get that kind of production, it's the off season, so everybody's kind of ageist at the moment, and they're looking to get younger, and they're looking at this is the time to make a move like this. It might be a little bit hard, seeing as he's coming off of Super Bowl, so I think the risk is well worth the reward you're going to get from this guy. So he's one of my buys. Next, Bobby Trees, Robert Woods. Robert Woods is a buy. Played 9 games. He had 69 targets, 45 receptions in those 9 games, 4 touchdowns, 550 yards receiving. And he was second in the league in snap share. He was out there. Him and Cooper Kupp are the guys. OBJ will be a number 3. And they'll move Van Jefferson to number 4. Do love me some Van Jefferson. If they can't bring OBJ back, I do love Van Jefferson. I think his value has fallen off, but another year in the system. The guy had an all right year last year. Robert Woods, 5th in the league in target separation, 2.17. You know, he had that bad injury, and unless it's severely affected him and he can't come back to form in any shape, then I'm buying Robert Woods. I mean, what are you paying? A late second? I mean, yes, he's old. He's about to be 30 years old. Whatever. I'll throw a flyer on it for a possible wide receiver 3. Yeah. What's it going to cost? A third plus? Mid-late second? Okay. If you're trying to win, this is the move you need to make, right? If you're not winning, you got to take some shots. Sometimes, depends. If you truly believe in Robert Woods and, you're tanking or something, throw a late draft pick out there. Pick up Robert Woods. See if he'll, come back to form, gain value. Maybe you can get a younger player with potential that could increase in value in the future. And those are the kind of moves that you make to win your league. It's not all about winning right now, but sometimes you have to buy and hold and wait for the value to increase. Like I did with Cortland Sutton in a few leagues. Bottom, for a late second plus, or swap with somebody that I didn't believe in. A lot of things you have to believe in it to make the move. And so I believe that Denver was going to make getting a quarterback a top priority this offseason. And so, okay, who's their wide receiver 2? I love wide receiver 2s. Who's their wide receiver 2? Cortland Sutton? Yeah, I'll take that. And then as soon as his value shoots up, maybe it hasn't shot up yet, but it will. I promise you, it will. He's going to be going for a first. You can convince some of your league mates to give you a first for him. Then you sell. Then you hold that first until the draft starts, or as close as you can to the draft. Get what you can for that first, and increase your value. And when it's time, when you have your team, when it's time to make a push to win a championship, you make that push. Who else? Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is still a buy for me. I don't care if he's going to be 29. I don't care. 191 targets. Almost, he had 1947 yards, 1950. Even if he regresses, guys, I'm still buying. Let's say he had 16 touchdowns. I don't believe he'll have 16 touchdowns. Let's say he has 10, right? His career high in 2019, 10. Let's say he goes back to 2019 Cooper Kupp. That's still somebody you want on your team. I don't care. Even if he's not performing. Sorry, it's my cat making noise and stuff in the background. Even if he's not performing as the overall number 1 player in fantasy, I still want Cooper Kupp on my team. I'm not going to get into stats. We all know Cooper Kupp dominated. He's a buy for me. At the right price. All right, guys, please don't just go out there and pay whatever because I'm saying go buy somebody. Be smart. Know your market. Know your values. Don't be stupid. Okay? Cam Akers is a tough one. Cam Akers is a tough one. Let me go into Cam Akers. So he didn't look good in the playoffs, and that's scary coming off of that injury. Um, I don't see him being much more than an RB2. Sorry, as a Rams fan, I love the guy and I hope he does well, but I don't see his value increasing much more, and so he's not a buy or a sell. He's a hold or avoid. He's the type of player that I avoid. I'm trying to go after J.K. Dobbins myself. But I think that is it for my buys. Of course, I was talking about DK Metcalf in the last podcast. Go give the last podcast a listen. He's a buy for me. Deebo Samuel. I also previously talked about Deebo Samuel. Subscribe to the YouTube. I'm telling you guys, Deebo Samuel is a sell. Um, but the biggest thing is just knowing your audience, knowing your market, right? Knowing your sub market, because just because all of Twitter thinks one thing, it's irrelevant if none of your league mates believe the same thing, right? And so sometimes you got to use that to your advantage and try to find, you got to find your lane into success. And so it's difficult. Like, I'm in a few leagues where people are really big on trade calculators. I don't mind using trade calculators as a baseline of value. I prefer keep trade cut because it gives you a more accurate representation of current market value. And so that's not something I'm going to use to decide whether I win or lose a trade. Everything is team dependent, roster construction, and league scoring format, roster format, right? Are you starting, a league of all flexes? Are you starting 2 running backs, 1 running back, 3 receivers? How many flexes do you have? 2 tight end leagues? It all depends. And that's why I don't think, you should use a trade calculator to decide whether you're winning or you're losing a trade. Welcome to my TED Talk. Who else is out there? Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup got a bump. As soon as I heard the news break of Amari Cooper, I was in a draft. I was in the 11th or 12th round, I believe. Boom, Michael Gallup, right then and there. Stay fluid. Listen, be aware of what's going on in the fantasy world, and stay fluid. Immediately, I got value. Especially if I can sell to a Cowboys fan. You know how Cowboys fans are. I'm just kidding. I have a lot of friends that are Cowboys fans. Top free agents. Oh. Allen Robinson. A-Rob. The guy still got it. He's not washed. The guy has still got it. Go get you some Allen Robinson, because his last 2 destinations, he's had crap quarterbacks. Just terrible. And I would like to think he's learned his lesson and is going to sign somewhere where he can play, where he's going to get him a quarterback that can get him the ball. He's not going to play with a rookie quarterback. At least I wouldn't if I was him. That's just me thinking, logically. A-Rob's a buy. Don't try to buy him from me, though, because I'm holding out. And he's a hold. If you have him, hold him. If you don't have him, throw a feeler out. See what it's going to take to acquire. I'm not paying a first for the guy. He's almost 30. I'm not paying a first for the guy. Who else is out there? Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is out there. I mean, if Mike Williams can get $60 million, Christian Kirk can probably get 40. I don't know. Christian Kirk did all right last year. Let me pull him up. I use Player Profiler for, my more advanced metrics and, my base stats. Kirk almost had 1,000 yards. That's surprising. I don't have a lot of shares of Kirk, and so it's not somebody I keep my eye on until an opportunity arises for me to purchase. Right now is a great opportunity. He had 100 targets, 77 receptions, 982 yards, 5 touchdowns. So Kirk is a solid buy right now. He's hitting free agency. He's going from Kyler Murray. So if he can put himself in the right situation, a quarterback is everything. So if he can put himself in a place where, he can get him a quarterback. If you have Kirk, hold Kirk. If you don't have Kirk, it's worth a buy. I don't see him being anything more than a solid wide receiver 3. So know that when you're paying your price. Wide receiver 3 is kind of his ceiling for me. But he had a solid year. I mean, that Arizona offense was on point for the most part of the year. Kind of fell off, especially when he played the Rams in the playoffs. I rep my team every chance I get. Always. Don't get cats, man. Every time I try to set up a podcast, my cat is trying to just mess with me. It's ridiculous. But I think that's it for today. I just wanted to get on, go back to back like Drake. I just dropped my last podcast yesterday. But, I'm going to try to get on as much as I can, as often as I can. As I'm doing this, actually, hold up, timeout. It looks like the Bears are trying to trade away Khalil Mack to the Chargers. So are the Chargers finally starting to do what it takes to... I gotta read this, guys. I'm sorry. For prime draft pick compensation. We're talking... What does that mean? A first and a second? Multiple firsts? Multiple firsts and multiple seconds? I mean, Khalil Mack hasn't quite, performed over his time in Chicago. I think he had one great year, and he's still been good. I mean, he still garners the attention because it's Khalil Mack. How could he not? Well, that is interesting. Yeah, I think that's about it. Shoot me a DM. Follow me on Twitter. DM me. I will break down your team. I will give you a league analysis. I'll rank your league mates. Trades. I'll help you make trades with your league mates. Everything is fair for the most part, but I'm all in on helping people do better in their leagues or get a better sense of where they are in their league. Give you a team direction, right? Do you need to rebuild? Do you just need to retool? Are you contending? Are you good where you're at? I'm not going to say is there a certain player you want. That's a little tedious, but yeah. I'm gonna try to make the trades as fair as I can for both sides, but all free, of course. And let's see what we can do for you over here at the Dynasty Recall. Once again, it's your boy REEZ. Follow me on Twitter at ff_REEZ. And yeah, thanks for coming. If you're on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a rate and review. Hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends. And let's reach a larger audience, and let's get it out there. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk today, guys. Peace.